And that takes us to the next team, which I just realized going over the tabs. I missed this tab. It's the Missouri Tigers and Eli Drinkwitz, who I'm going to try to tee you guys up because I don't have a whole lot to add to this. The only thing I have to add is Eli Drinkwitz maybe being the biggest clown of SEC Media Week when he said if they just could schedule a little easier out-of-conference games. And then you go and look at who they scheduled last year, and it's Central, Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana, and Massachusetts. So he said if the SEC just scheduled a little easier out-of-conference games, they would have a better chance of winning the national championship. I thought that was just crazy. But, Casey, what do you have on the Missouri Tigers and Eli Drinkwitz this year?
I mean, it begins and ends with Ahmad Hardy, who I think got a gunshot wound over the offseason. It sounds like he's been cleared to play. He's going to be good for the start of the season. Quite frankly, he's one of the best running backs in all of college football, if not the best running back in college football this year. The guy is a legitimate stud. I know that their offensive line is returning quite a bit, so I think that leaning on the run game, working Austin Simmons in these first couple games, you got, it's a easy out of conference schedule again. They go to Kansas. I don't hate Missouri and Kansas playing. Their historical rivals. Kansas is not the greatest. They're not the greatest program, but that's not Missouri's fault. Kansas, Missouri, they border each other. The Kansas City are so. Missouri, Kansas is a game I'm fine with. Their other two out of conference games are Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and Troy. Troy's at least a respectable G6 program, G5 program, whatever you want to call it, but it's going to be a run game. It's going to be a run game team. Austin Simmons, he's the one who kind of lost the job to Trinidad Chambliss at Ole Miss, but solid quarterback. I think Trinidad is just was better for the Lane Kiffin system last year, but I don't think Austin Simmons is a guy that you look at as a complete failure at Ole Miss. He just kind of got beat out by a lightning in a bottle type guy in Trinidad. So the defensive turnover is going to be tough on Missouri this year. They were very active in the portal, trying to fill some holes on the defensive side of the ball. I think their secondary is primed to get kind of ripped apart by some of the better passing teams on their schedule after that out of conference schedule wraps up and they really get into the thick of their SEC play. But look, I would say I'm definitely a little bit more bullish. We're talking tiers. This tier is probably South Carolina, Mizzou, Vandy, and Auburn, kind of in that bottom middle of the SEC. And I'm probably more bullish for sure on Vandy and Auburn, and probably even South Carolina with Lenore Sellers and some of the pieces they have coming back. But look, I do think Drinkwitz, his comments were ridiculous, but I like him as a pretty good, stable coach in Mizzou, Columbia, Missouri. So I would say more bearish than bullish this year, but they're going to be a tough out, competitive team, and I wouldn't be shocked if they win some games that catch your eye throughout the course of the SEC season.
I'm looking right now. The over-under is set at 6.5. Casey mentioned that open with Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Kansas, Troy, Mississippi State, and Florida. Seems like a very reasonable opening schedule. Max, what do you think? Do you like that over 6.5 number? And what do you think of Missouri this year?
I don't know that I like the over. Listen, Austin Simmons, it's a shame. Trinidad Chambliss is in his late 30s like me and just very experienced. It's hard to compete with something like that from a mental perspective when you have the physical traits. But I do think he's a good quarterback. Listen, Ahmad Hardy, this is not fantastic in what happened to him, but the fact that this guy makes a living on running the football, absolutely was an incredible running back last year, one of the best in the country, and then gets shot in the leg. And Eli Drinkwitz goes to SEC Media Day, and they asked him, hey, can you provide us an Ahmad Hardy update? And he says, John Wayne rode after he'd been shot. He turned out all right. In reference to Ahmad Hardy's recovery, who just got shot in the leg. We're talking about 1950s movie stars and cowboy Western flicks getting shot at each other. And that's the reference that we're throwing out as Eli Drinkwitz. And this guy's a fucking clown. Okay. I don't think Missouri. We talked about Alex Golish. We talked about Will Stein, guys that we think are going to turn the culture, turn the program around. This guy's going to be on the streets after this season, and Eli Drinkwitz. I don't believe in Missouri Tigers at all. I think when you're throwing John Wayne quotes about catching stray bullets about your best player in the backfield, I'm baffled. The guy's a buffoon. Good luck to Austin Simmons. You got out of the Ole Miss situation, and you might get a chance to prove yourself. But you lost Damon Wilson on the defensive front, your best defensive pass rusher. He went to Miami, of course, but it's just there's nothing here. I can't hitch my wagon to anything in this Missouri team. I don't like the coach. I don't like the staff. The players, Ahmad Hardy's recovering from something that's severe, and we do wish him the best recovery, obviously. I would love to see him come back and perform at a high level because he was such a great running back last year, and I want him to get his in the NFL as well and be a high draft pick. But I don't see it. I'm not buying into it. I don't give a shit who they have on their schedule. I don't think they're beating Florida. I don't think they're beating some of these mid-tier SEC teams. I think this is going to be a laughing stock. Drinkwitz has shown the door, and the only thing drinking is him at the bar after this season.
They're not firing Drink. Like he's gone 29-10 his last 3 years. The guy's a good coach. He's been pretty loyal to them. They seem to really like him there, unless they lose to like Arkansas Pine Bluff and Delaware or Troy, whoever. Yeah, Arkansas Pine Bluff and Troy, like, and they go one and like this guy. You know, they're gonna be. Their over under is what 6.5. Like they're not expected to be great. So
Cool.
even if they go 4-8, they're not firing Drinkwitz after this season.
Cool.
So
have fun winning 5 games a season with Drinkwitz. Like I'm glad that
they've gone 11-2, 10-3, and 8-5 the last 3 years. They don't.
Yeah. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna win anything with that guy. I'm telling you right now. So obviously, I'm not a Mizzou guy. I think there's some question marks. Eli's had a great career at Missouri. Who knows if he actually gets on the hot seat? I just think that he's not the guy long term to get it done.